We're talking about Caribbean earthquake as 12 islands face tsunami warning in a huge quake.
Yo quería que tú escucharas eso.
Mami, se ha escuchado hasta en el Feliciano.
Massive earthquake causing huge tsunami warnings. People like me, as some of you know, I'm down here in Puerto Rico. I work out of Puerto Rico often. And of course, our area was in one of the evacuation notices. And I was able to throw this out real quick after hearing all of the sirens blaring along the beach. Got a warning that we are to evacuate due to a possible tsunami in Puerto Rico. So many places, so many people experiencing evacuation notices, maps.
This is a really big earthquake. I just want to make that really clear to everyone. Seeing a number this big on the map is pretty significant. Now, this originally came in as an 8.0 earthquake.
Cayman Islands, US Virgin Islands, Mexico, Puerto Rico. Got a bunch of crazy videos to show you, including up-to-date information coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff that you want to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. All right, guys, thanks for starting this off with a like. Definitely helps it get out to more people, which more people need news and awareness notifications. So thank you. Now, I had a friend recently tell me, because we were talking about being right on the ocean, and the wife didn't like the idea of being in a tsunami zone, right? And he tells me the chances of experiencing a tsunami, you have a higher chance of getting hit by lightning. And then here we are getting a tsunami warning. What the heck? Now, this weather event happened at 7:30 Atlantic time, which would have been 6:30 Eastern, and people got all kinds of messages like this sent to their phone. Folks, it's crazy because those sirens in real life, I heard them right through the window. It makes it feel very, very real that something bad could happen. And most people get frantic. I'm talking running around, yelling in people's windows, driving off, heading uphill. And the scary part about that is you think, oh yeah, you might only be a little ways to safety. But when you've got everyone driving and then it gets gridlocked, you know what people do? They jump out of their car in a frenzy, leave their car, abandon it, and start running up the hill. Now the traffic ain't moving at all. Now you've got to follow suit. Get out of the car, abandon the car, run up the hill. Trust me, these emergency scenarios are chaos. And like I said, our homestead is in the Cascades in Washington State. But many of you that have been part of this community know that I work out of Puerto Rico much of the year. And last night, after hearing the sirens, having kids in the house, being in the yellow zone video, I put up this short last night explaining that we were evacuating. And seriously, you guys might be prepped and ready for an emergency, but are you ready for the emergency that you have to leave and abandon all of your preps? That's a whole other ball game, especially when you're trying to beat the crowd that is also trying to get to safety. So 7.6 magnitude earthquake affecting a lot of islands and a lot of neighboring areas. This is what happened last night.
This is a really big earthquake. I just want to make that really clear to everyone. Seeing a number this big on the map is pretty significant. Now, this originally came in as an 8.0 earthquake. As they've done some more research on this, they knocked it down to 7.6. It's still significant for this area. So this is where it was centered here, again, just to the south and southwest of the Cayman Islands. Here's Jamaica. This is Cuba up here. And because it happened right in the middle of the Caribbean Sea at a pretty shallow depth of only about 7 kilometers, tsunami advisories have been posted for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, but everywhere, including Mexico here up into the Yucatan, and then down through places like Honduras and Belize, and all of the Antilles up here will all have to be on guard over the next few hours to see if any tsunami threat ends up materializing. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this here as we go through the evening.
I mean, people were getting notices like this, like Aguadilla, Mona Island, Mayaguez, San Juan, and what time this big, huge tsunami wave could potentially hit. Down to the minute. Small towns, oceanside areas, towns even inland a little bit, just sirens going off, people running in the streets, and the sirens, I swear, add an element of just craziness. Can you imagine?
Atención, el Servicio Nacional de Meteorología ha emitido un aviso de tsunami para esta zona. Por favor, tome las precauciones necesarias. Este es el momento de desalojar áreas de peligro. Aléjense de la costa. Suba a un área alta. Attention, the National Weather Service has issued a preemptive warning for this area.
That video was Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. I'm telling you, traffic everywhere, horns blazing, people running through the streets. So this is where you guys can see the 7.6 magnitude. Like I said, they started it off as an 8.0 and it went to a 7.6. But the location of this thing, I mean, it affects a lot of surrounding areas. Now, I've got all the reports on, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, the U.S., and I imagine Mexico and South America had their own flood of different warnings and alarms going on. In this Newsbreak article, it says Caribbean earthquake mapped. Horror as 12 islands face tsunami warning after a huge quake. So how they summarize this was the Caribbean has been hit with a high alert, 12 islands signaling potential tsunami danger following a powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake. Tsunami advisories are out for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, while warnings hit neighbors like Colombia, Haiti, Belize, Sabah, Aruba, Morocco, Costa Rica, Bahamas, Cuba, Cayman Islands, Panama, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos Islands, Honduras, Mexico, Bonaire, Guatemala, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Jamaica. That's a lot of places getting a tsunami warning. It said the tremor was particularly felt a notable 209 kilometers southwest of Georgetown in the Cayman Islands, but the experts on the skies and beyond has dropped onto social media to claim any tsunami terrors. Now, earlier I had been watching a bunch of videos on this. A lot of places barely felt the quake, but their pool was like shaking. It's wild that sometimes you don't really feel the tremors, but what water does during this, I even saw it on a cruise ship. Cruise ship pool was just going crazy. Check out these water tanks from that 7.6 earthquake in the Grand Cayman.
Earthquake, lo sentí, me despertó. ¿Qué clase earthquake? La casita se sentía como si estaba.
Is that not crazy? I mean, that's wild. It said it was shallow with a depth of barely 7 miles, disclosed meteorologist Matthew Capucci. He explained further this was a lateral strike slip quake, minimal up and down motion, so very low tsunami threat, easing the worrying minds. They went on to say historically this isn't out of the ordinary to records by the USGS. Significant shakes in the segment of the plate boundary have happened before. Within a decade, recounting 10 such earthquakes with a magnitude of 6 or more. A quick flashback to 2018, similar strength quake at 7.5 mag. That one sparked small but damaging tsunami, reports the Express US said. And it says all of those earthquakes in that area has happened within 250 kilometers of the quake that took place Saturday evening. Now, it wasn't till I think I personally saw it around 10 o'clock p.m. that we got these alerts right here that said, with the latest modeling and information, the tsunami threat has passed. It says there are no alerts posted for the United States or international partners. The tsunami threat has passed. Unusual currents may be noticed in some areas. Exercise normal caution. But I have to say, one, we got a pretty good amount of like heads up. I felt like there was like a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours heads up on like when this thing was gonna hit, even though it was really far away. It felt good that we had a bit of time to like get our stuff, get it ready, and get out. But I'm telling you guys, those sirens blaring and the official reports, then you jump in the car, then we heard it coming through the radio. It gets real. And then you think that, you know, someone like me, emergency preparedness, provisions, probably ready more than the average person. You get thrown out there in the elements of chaos of everyone else. Well, you just have to experience that one to realize the whole other element to emergency and the different things that you really need to be prepared for. Because there's a lot of people that get like, they lose it. You guys can look up the earthquake on different social media sites. People posted lots of videos, people scrambling, running through the streets, lots of horns blaring, and people running hysterically through streets. I think a lot of it has to do with that siren and the announcement. And you know, some people just are not getting like the real alerts. All they've got is the siren and the blaring thing saying a possible tsunami's gonna hit. I'm telling you, people come unglued. That was my first experience with a tsunami warning, like really. Thankfully, we had a lot of people praying for us, and that might be why the whole thing subsided really well. There's probably a lot of praying people out there, but I'm telling you, I could see how this could be very, very scary for a lot of people. Anyway, I just wanted to share an update on all that. Everything subsided and it seems like everything's okay, but I honestly think there's probably more to come. We've got a lot more stuff. If you guys missed this video, really good video on explaining what is in your food, some of the toxic stuff that you guys need to be aware of. So watch that one if you missed it. Make sure the notification bell is still turned on because I got a lot more important stuff coming down the pipe. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing, guys. We'll see you on the next one.